Shemai! Prynhawn da, if you're watching this in the afternoon, or bore da, or noswaith da, depending on when you are listening. We have completed Uned 21. And in 21, we were looking at giving instructions, which you'll probably see when you're driving around Wales, because you often find it on construction signs where you get to a traffic light and you got aroswch, and that uch is what is really important, because that is what makes it a formal way of telling someone what to do, essentially. We went through a few of these. There are a few exceptions to this rule, which we'll get to. Well, there's the informal, and then you got the irregular verbs, so like mind and to go and things like that. But I'll get onto that in due course. In the meantime, as you say, if you've been to school in Wales, particularly in the last 15 years or so, you would have understood these because your teacher would have told you, basically. But you've got like codwch, so get up, and that comes from codi, which I think we've done in previous units. We've got eisteddwch, which is based on eistedd, which is sit, and also the eisteddfod is based on the chair that the winner of the Eisteddfod gets. It's all based on a chair. And then you've got esgusodwch. Oh, that didn't sound good. Esgusodwch fi, which is excuse me. And because you've got the uch on the end, it makes it a command. It makes it an instruction that you're giving to someone. And then with homework, ysgrifennu is to write. Ysgrifennwch, write. Ysgrifennwch, os gwelwch yn dda, write please. And that's kind of the fundamental principle that we've gone through. And you could, this kind of gets up where you get someone to, I've already said, so get up, codwch, sit down, eisteddwch, move, symudwch, and stopioch. And it all works. It also works informally, and this is me basically, like in a very basic term, by instead of uch at the end, it's an a, where you could have coda, or eistedda, cerdda, or stopia. Same thing, different audience. So you've got the uch, which is when it's formal, and you've got the a when it's informal. And because Richard knows us so well, he emails us out our homework on a Thursday evening. He goes, gwela, oh, I've forgotten what it signs off, but it's gwela, which is see you. I will see you. Gwelwch chi. Next week. What's that? With wythnos nesa. I got there in the end. Sorry, Richard. So this whole unit was based on commands that you would have in the house. So eistedda ar y sofa, edrycha ar y teledu, watch television. So different commands that you can give people. And then mynd i'r ysgol, you've got boita dy frecwast di. And one thing that was, I believe, I feel like I'm making this up now. Yes, no, I'm going to ignore myself. But those were the fundamental things. I'm not going to confuse myself or you with this video. But we're also looking at questions that we could answer about penwythnos I fwrdd yng Nghymru. So a week in Wales, and ble dyn ni'n gallu mynd. So that is, where are we able to go? At the moment, we're allowed to go 5 miles more than we could before. So ble dyn ni'n gallu mynd, where are we able to go? And pryd dyn ni'n gallu mynd, when are we able to go? And pryd, well, yes. So we went through different questions as to how we could answer those. So ble, cerddwch yn y park. We could walk in the park. Or cerdda. And of course, this is a fallback to when we looked at how do we know when to change the ends of our verbs. So all the way back when we were doing past tense, if I said that I walked, I could do cerddais I. I walked. And that's because cerdded, to walk, ends in an ed. And there's a phrase which is eds roll and eggs crack or eggs smash. So the eds and the eggs, they go, which means that your ewch or a or ice e, as it might be, they come in replacement of the ed or the eg at the end. And it also works, so if there's vowels at the end or consonants at the end, they all have different rules as well that go through it. The thing which my mind has gone blank with, I'm going to be honest with you, is I can't remember if there's a mutation after any of them. So I'm just going to leave that as it is. Next week, luckily for me, is a revision unit, which means we've got another one of those grids with a deck of cards, which has got all questions, and we need to figure out answers as to where they as to what they've done. So this is looking over the last, I think, 7 or 8 units. So this is our 3rd revision unit, and we are booked in for our oral examination that's coming up in the summer. I'm going to say the summer, where we'll have conversations. And what's great if you sign up with Learn Welsh Pembrokeshire is the questions that they're likely to ask at entry level. I'm sure it's like it for all the other levels as well, maybe a bit more complex, but I'm doing Mudiad un ar dau, which means that the questions in an oral examination that we're going to have are quite prescribed, which is great because it means that you can revise them, and we even know which ones are going to have follow-up questions as well. So going into the oral exam, we know that if we answer a particular question, or if they ask a particular question, forgive me, that we know the types of questions that might have a follow-up. And all they're really looking for is, do we appreciate the tense of the question that they're asking, us? So, sut mae tywydd heddiw? How's the weather today? Mae hi'n gymylog, as I'm doing this one. But they might go, sut roedd the tywydd? So, how was the weather? So, sut roedd the tywydd ddoe? How was the weather yesterday? And then I can't go mae hi'n braf ddoe, because mae is present. So it's roedd hi'n braf ddoe. So they care about the roedd. They care about if they're asking us something that I thought where did we go? That I'm saying SE, I went somewhere. So that's the key thing that they're looking for in the oral examination, which is coming up at some point over the next, I think it's 6, 7 or 8 weeks time. So still plenty of time, plenty of learning to go. I'm on the fast track course, which means I've nearly caught up with the Mudiad dau entry, because usually you do part 1 in year 1 and year 2 in year 2, naturally. But we're on this fast track course with Bydig Richard, and yeah, we're slowly catching up. So we're coming for you. So yeah, next week, revision unit, which I'm looking forward to because it's nice to kind of bring everything back together. And yeah, that's where we're at the moment. Thank you for watching these. I hope you still find them helpful. And you can catch me on Pure West Radio on the Early Breakfast Show between 6 a.m. and 8 a.m. every weekday morning. Have a good one. Hwyl fawr.